This is why faith should be the foundation of your self-improvement. See, no matter what skill you're trying to level up in life, no matter what you're trying to achieve, whether it be, improving your self-control or improving your discipline or whatever, faith should be on that list of what you're trying to improve. Without faith, you really do have nothing. Now, what I'm getting at here is that in this world, everybody, no matter what, has some kind of God that they worship. Even if you're an atheist, you actually do have a God that you worship. And it's not, the creator God, God himself. It is someone or something else. Because when you reject God, so that you don't believe in him anymore or whatever, your mind and your soul actually needs a God to submit to. So what you end up doing is choosing something else, like a habit or a vice or something that you end up idolizing. So you just basically the thing that you idolize the most, the thing that you placed highest on your list of values and highest on your list of things that are important to you, that is your God on the highest part of your list. Even if you believe in, so what this means is that even if you believe in God, you might have something higher than him on your list of priorities, and that becomes your God. I'm going to tell you a little story. So when my pastor actually when we were at church once, my pastor, he gave us this presentation. This was very interesting to me, and this was actually very moving for me as a kid. And what he did was he took 2 jars, pretty big jars, about yay big. In one jar, he put a bunch of sand in. Then he put pebbles, and then he put rocks. And he couldn't get the rocks to fit, the big ones. It was sand and little pebbles and these pretty decent sized rocks, about the size of a tennis ball. And he couldn't get them in because the bottle was already full of sand and pebbles. And so he's like, what should I do? And so he called on a kid. I don't remember who the kid was. It was a random kid. Called on the kid to come up. And he goes, how can I get these things to fit? And the kid, who was pretty smart, says, well, why don't you put the big rocks in first, then the pebbles and the sand, so that they can all fit together. And so that's what he did. He put the rocks in, and then he put the pebbles, and the pebbles were small enough to fit in the cracks of the rocks, and so they moved around in there. And then he put the sand in, which then filled the entire jar. And he got everything to fit. So what this means is that in your life, in your goals and your dreams and your ambitions, you have to get your values straight. He said at the end of his presentation, the big rocks represent the things that are most important to you, like God, your faith, and your family, and the people you care most about. The pebbles would represent important possessions, like your house, your car, things that you need, food, water, stuff that you need to survive. And then the sand represents the little things, stuff like, going out to eat somewhere nice, or, getting something nice for Christmas, whatever. Just these little things that matter to you. The problem is that a lot of people put their sand first, or their pebbles first, without thinking about their foundation. And so when you reject God, reject one of the big rocks, Oh, I'm congested today. Holy cow. Ugh. I hate being a little sick. All right. When you reject God, basically taking out one of these big rocks, you might think that everything else would fit. But when you remove this big rock, you can't just throw it to the side. It has to get into the jar somehow. And so by removing this big rock and then putting all this other stuff in place, hey cat, what the heck? And so by removing this big rock and putting all this other little stuff in dude, please let me talk. And so by removing this rock, and then you try to fill it up with all the pebbles and sand and stuff, this big rock can't just sit on the sidelines outside of the jar. It has to get into the jar somewhere, because like it or not, God is going to find his way into your life. And so you're going to have to try to shove it in the jar, but it's not going to fit. And your life is going to be a reflection of that. And so faith should be the foundation of your self-improvement. That's all I got for today. May God bless you and stay wild.